Hello there. Macron is still taking a pop at Brexit UK over fishing licences, while he copies Donald Trump by launching his Make France First campaign. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please do press that little bell, but also select the All option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. Now, just before I start on the main topic, I've just watched Lord David Frost, the UK post-Brexit negotiator, give his much-awaited speech in Lisbon. In it, he laid out clearly the problems that the Northern Ireland Protocol presents and why it should be renegotiated, and also why having the jurisdiction of the ECJ thrust on the people of Northern Ireland is wrong. It was a measured speech, and it challenged Brussels to rise to the occasion and basically do the right thing. So the Eurocrats will of course ignore it and double down excessively on the protocol. Anyway, I'll take another look at it later and see what the responses are for a possible video tomorrow. Yes, the French President Emmanuel Macron is still bleating on about fishing vessel licences, and it seems he's managed to rope in some of his EU27 colleagues to help him out. But they don't seem too keen on his rather combative rhetoric. But Macron has also launched his presidential campaign early for next year's elections by unveiling a France First plan to reverse the country's decline by 2030. And from what I read of the 1.5 hour speech he delivered on France First, it sounded much like everyone else's. All green, clean cars, domestic production, and small nuclear reactors, as well as billions to be spent on decarbonisation. Now, where have I heard all that before? But he's putting France first. Maybe he could sell some red baseball caps with MFGA emblazoned across the front. Make France great again. Anyway, he's got to win the election first. Now, I remember when Brexiteers were derided for saying that the EU needs us more than we need them. Well, we Brexiteers were right. The EU, especially the French, need our fishing waters, and Brussels needs control over Northern Ireland, and Spain would definitely like at least a chunk of Gibraltar. But what have we demanded from them? Nothing, just to be respected as a sovereign country. So as I said, they obviously need us more than we need them. Anyway, back to Macron. He's still mightily unhappy about the lack of licences to fish in UK waters for his fishing community. Or maybe he's still really smarting over the AUKUS deal and the loss of an extremely lucrative submarine deal of his own. But he has at least agreed to reinstate the French ambassador to Australia. Now, the sticking point over these licences, as you may well know, is that the UK is asking for proof that those French vessels wanting to be licensed have a history of working in the parts of UK waters they want to operate in accordance with the fishing agreement. And the trouble for Macron is that out of 47 applications made, only 17 of them could give such proof. Now, what we're talking about here are the French vessels of less than 12 metres in length, wanting to fish in the UK 6 to 12 mile zone. And as I understand it, only vessels of 12 metres in length or over have to be tracked by satellite positioning every 2 hours and have those records kept. So all the bigger vessels can prove their comings and goings, but the smaller ones might not be able to. But surely these smaller vessels do keep some sort of logbook of their whereabouts and also records of what they caught and where. And how about any sales records that could back up their claims? Anyway, the EU-UK fishing agreement does stipulate that EU vessels wishing to work in UK waters should prove they've worked here before. That way, we can limit operations to a maximum of previous years and not have loads of newcomers flooding in trying to strip us clean. So surely asking for proof of previous operations is reasonable. But no, not for the French. They insist we hand over licences as they demand them. And they've managed to get another 10 EU member states to join them in their demands. Although Macron will be mightily disappointed that he has had to drop his more blood-curdling pronouncements about shutting off electricity to the UK and Jersey, as well as blockading ports unless we cave into his Napoleonic demands. The others weren't too keen on all of that and insisted on a more measured approach. But Macron is said to be planning some French-only punishments for Brexit UK. Just shows you the type of people we're up against, doesn't it? So why we keep referring to them as friends and partners is beyond me. But Emmanuel Macron is up for election next year, and if he's not mightily concerned, then he should be, because a new player is on the block. But before I get into that, I just want to say a massive thank you to all my Super Thanks, Patreon and PayPal supporters, as well as those that do buy a mug, with my mug on it. Links in the descriptions box below. You really do help me keep this channel going. So the new player on the French presidential elections block is the 63-year-old far-right political pundit and firebrand Eric Zemmour. He wasn't even on the official list, but was predicted to take 13% of the vote in the first round as soon as his name cropped up. And that could well increase in the coming months. In the last election in 2017, Macron and Marine Le Pen went through to the second round as the two winners, Macron on 24.01% and Le Pen on 21.3%. So Zemmour coming straight in as soon as his head popped above the parapet with a 13% poll rating could upset the apple cart. And just yesterday, Politico.eu was reporting, the rise of French presidential hopeful Eric Zemmour has been meteoric. He's getting far more primetime TV slots and front-page stories than many of his rivals. He's also on the rise in the polls. Last week, a poll showed Zemmour overtaking Marine Le Pen for the first time and getting through to a runoff vote in next year's French election. The Harris Interactive poll predicted Zemmour would get 17% of the vote compared to 15% for Le Pen and 24% for Emmanuel Macron. Although the article does go on to explain that the Harris poll is an outlier, and Zemmour is still at around the 13% mark on average across the piece. But the worry for Macron would be, where would those votes go in the second round? And it's early days yet, and Zemmour is being hailed as the French Trump. So it's no wonder that Macron has suddenly launched this France First or France 2030 campaign, presumably to try and draw the sting from anything that might attract the electorate towards the Trump-like effect of Eric Zemmour by being a bit Trump-like himself. But I think he might have better results if he got his fishing vessel licence applications filled in properly to get French fishing vessels into UK waters. Then he could claim a magnificent victory over perfidious Albion, just by following the rules that France and the EU signed up to. So what's your opinion on Macron and his fishing obsession? Please like and comment below.